All right, coming off of a very interesting race in Spain where we showed a little bit of pace, but at the same time, I think we all can agree that it could have been a lot better. So we've seen a lot of promise, maybe a bit of a light in the tunnel to some degree, but at the same time, we still have a long way to go. Let's go ahead, let's jump on into this. We have some required responses in our inbox, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. First things first, we have our ATR period that's starting today. Not too shabby. We gained some things, although we're going to have to be very judicious with what we decide to invest in because we only have $1.8 million to spend. So we'll take a look at that here in a moment. Taking a look at our post-race data, our car struggled a lot in its medium speed performance. I mean, at the same time, it is what it is. We also very much underperformed it in the high speed and the top speed. So in the grand scheme of things, not too much. It's gonna be a long way to go. Thankfully, we actually get to keep a lot of components, looks like, after the Spanish Grand Prix, so it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Let's go ahead and take a look at this urgent factory fire. They're saying that they should not continue to manufacture it because there was a small fire in the factory. I think that's okay. I don't even know if there's really anything even being manufactured right now, so at the end of the day, not a whole lot we can really do there, so all in all, not too shabby. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our things and see if we could check out what we got going on here. We have a lot of things of medium risk for on Mick's car. It looks like we might need to make some suspensions. On Logan's car, the suspension is also a medium risk, so we're definitely going to need to make new suspensions here soon. So unfortunately, we can't build anything because our factory is down. But at the same time, it's good to it's good to see what we got going on here. I do want to take a look at our research stuff. I also want to look at this. We have built none of these. How much are these? $1 million. Oh God, 240, 250, and 440. Okay, the hospitality area being $1 million was not the right way to start because holy. All right, let's go ahead. I want to take a look at and do some research. I know that we want to start prioritizing next year. I don't think we're going to have the funds to really compete this year. I believe we've already done research on the underfloor. So I think the next thing that we want to do research on is, let's do the chassis. Let's do some research on the chassis and hopefully try and keep our costs down. I think we want to... How do we want to do this? Do we want to split it evenly, I guess? Do 3 if we can, and then split this in half as well. We can do 30. We'll do 30 on the chassis, and we'll do 31 on the other two. I think for this, we want to keep it on... Do we want to do race performance, or we just want to do balance? We probably want to focus on race performance, but then we'll tick engine cooling up a little bit. Let's see if we can even afford this. That's $1 million just to do. It's $1 million just to do that. I don't even think we can do another one after this. So I think what we're gonna do is, if it's gonna be $1 million, let's invest a little bit more. Let's do half. There we go. We'll do 3.4 here. And then what, that would be 46? Yeah. So let's do half and half. We'll keep this the same. It's still only going to cost us $1 million, and we can bump this up to 5, and then we'll get that research done and should be completed in 24 days. Let's go ahead and do that. We officially can't do anything else, right? Yeah, it's going to be $1 million or 1.8 to do the front wing. What if we do something smaller, like side pods? No, I don't want to spend all my money. I'm looking like as if I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because we actually just can't afford to let our cash balance get too low. But here we are already at the Austrian Grand Prix weekend. This is a sprint weekend, I believe. So all in all, we're gonna have a lot of opportunities here. This is a balanced circuit, and our car isn't really suited thanks to its high speed performance. It is a sprint weekend, and it's gonna get interesting to say the least. It looks like the race forecast has light rain, so that's going to get interesting. So if we get some light rain, actually our higher downforce setup might actually help us a little bit, but at the same time, it's going to get interesting. Let's go ahead and head to our race targets. I think for this one, we're going to do kind of the same thing we did in Spain, promise 21st for both, and we're just going to pray that we can get 100K out of this as much as we can. So let's head to the race weekend. Austria, here we come.
Welcome along to the spectacular setting of Austria. Set in the Austrian mountains, the Red Bull Ring offers fantastic views and thrilling racing. Originally built in 1970, the circuit has been part of the F1 season in its current format since 2014.
Is that
Let's
it?
see what the weekend has in store.
Sorry, Crofty. Didn't mean to cut you off there. All right, getting ready for sprint qualifying. We did pretty okay on our car setups for the one practice session that we got. We got 90% on Mick and 88% on Logan. We also had after some long and thought out deliberation, we decided to make a business decision this weekend with Logan Sargent. We've decided to leave him on all of his worn components. This is going to be an issue in the long run, but we have to make a business decision because he is down to a single component on a lot of things. And so we need to try and stretch some of this out as long as possible. So it's gonna be a struggle. It just is. And we're gonna have to ride it out. So I apologize, Logan, but you're kind of getting sacrificed this weekend. All in all, let's go ahead and get our run plan set here. I think we're gonna do since it is sprint qualifying and we have to start on the mediums, I think we're gonna go back to doing our 2 flying laps for the mediums, and we're gonna see how it gets on. Let's do it. Let's head to sprint qualifying.
Currently P12.
Okay, so after our first laps, we are 2 tenths behind Enzo Fittipaldi and 4.5 tenths behind Enzo Fittipaldi, which is tough scenes for us because I think this does not bode well. Our high downforce setup, obviously not the, honestly not the way to go. Probably could have tried to put as much of the old spec stuff on as we could, which I think is a more balanced setup in the grand scheme of things. But I don't think it was going to make a huge difference. We see Logan actually sitting in P15. Mick is faster than Alonso and Joe, so I'm sure they probably had some traffic if I had to guess. But at the same time, it's not too bad. We're gonna have to go out on the same tires, so I don't know how much this is really gonna help, but we're gonna send him out for one more lap just to see. I might try and send Mick out a little early just because he had some traffic on his lap, and I'm thinking that he might be able to get back closer to Logan if I have to imagine. So we're gonna try and send Logan out last, because if it's true that he's got the pace, then he's got the pace. We have a yellow flag. Fittipaldi spun in turn 7. And we're going to prepare to start sending Logan. We'll send him now. Get him out a little early as well. Hopefully he will be able to get through the traffic if possible. Here's Mick starting his flying lap. Hopefully, he's going to catch all the traffic at the worst possible time. Looks like he might have gotten through, but I mean, it's all yellows. Those tires were worn, and unfortunately, that is going to mean that Mick is unfortunately out of sprint qualifying, currently in P20. I have to imagine we'll probably move down from there. Here we have Logan on the same set of tires, going yellow on his first sector. I feel like we gave it our best shot earlier in the session and just is not going to be enough. And Logan definitely seems to have, is up to pace with these components and all this, but now he's especially getting traffic from the Ferrari. Oh, he is even green in the middle. What could have been. Wow, he actually got to the line there. But unfortunately, we are out. Mick had a lot of traffic on his lap. Logan even lost some time thanks to traffic on his lap. So unfortunately, we are out. But we're not last. Thanks to Joe, 2.3 seconds off the pace, and us only 1.8 in 2 seconds. So we're going to be starting the sprint race from quite the distance back. All right, we have a Max Verstappen sprint pole position going green, purple, 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 all 3 sessions, putting it on pole for the sprint race with a 1:02.6. What was our fastest time? So the pole time was a 1:02.6. The fastest time was a 1:02.4. And we were running 1:04.3s and 1:04.5s. So we are over a second off the pace from pole position there. So, or two full seconds off the pace to Max Verstappen. So just shows how far we have to go here. But it's gonna be a Max Verstappen pole, Charles Leclerc front row, and then Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz just behind. Gonna be a fun one. Let's go ahead and head on into this thing.
Well, the excitement levels continue to rise here as the teams prepare for the sprint.
And of course, the big incentive here is getting a few extra points on the board, with the top finishers in the sprint set to add to their championship tally.
So who will reach the peak and who has a mountain to climb here at the Austrian Sprint?
Us, we have a mountain to climb. Okay, yeah. Let's do it. We'll give up the set of hards to take another set of mediums into the race. I think what I'm gonna do is start out on all of this. Gotta get some heat into these tires. We're gonna be pushing. We're gonna see what we can make happen, but at the end of the day, the only thing we realistically really need to focus on is bringing the car home in one piece and getting ready for the Grand Prix tomorrow. So let's do it. Sprint race at Austria.
Here in Austria, we're all ready to go for the sprint.
Here we go.
And it's
Lights out and away we go. We are away. Oh, this. All right, Logan, let's go, Logan. Up into 18th, let's go. I don't want to watch it. We watched it live. Logan queuing up at turn 3 by the looks of it. Just hanging out. Oh, Logan overtook Lewis, who is 19th for some reason. I didn't even see who else was out in SQ1. So unless Lewis had a grid penalty or something else going on, I don't know. But he was well down the order and is passed by Logan Sargent. So basically to say we're goated. Good mix of mediums at the front of the grid. It's going to get interesting as this race goes on, because I think the mediums are going to start to fall off towards the end of the race, and it's really just going to be about who can keep life in the tires as much as possible. I say that like we realistically have that big of a shot at holding on or moving forward.
DRS
But at the same time, it is Austria. If we can stay in DRS, that does give us, I think, the best chance we have. We'll bop these back to neutral. We don't want to waste all of our ERS on lap 1. I don't foresee Lewis sticking behind Logan for long. But that said, if we can just stick in DRS to Gasly, we can just kind of hopefully train ourselves a bit, and hopefully that last sector will, in the higher speed corners there and our higher downforce setups, can hopefully try and keep us in the hunt as long as possible.
Let's look after these tyres just a little bit.
Gonna lower these.
More lift and coast.
I want to see at what temp the tires start to go a bit yellow on this one. But we have Mick, who's nearly 2 seconds off the pace to Zhou. I think that's just literally just from not having DRS. We have Logan here who's hanging out about 6 seconds. 6/10 rather, behind Gasly, who just developed an issue. Lewis is likely going to be going down our inside here, unless... Yeah, there that goes. Honestly, oh, go on, Logan. Go on. Getting that move done. Lewis on the medium's unable to keep up. Let's go. Now that said, we did lose DRS to Gasly, unless we got it right here. We'll see here in but a moment. It looks like we did not. Looks like we did not get DRS. So Lewis should. I mean, Should, but apparently cannot. Making it happen. Okay. I mean, we're losing time. We're losing nothing but time to the group ahead, which is not going to go well for us. And we realistically probably should just let the Mercedes go ahead of us.
We have to protect those tires.
Realistically, and just let him take advantage of his medium tires to hopefully keep tabs. I mean, he's definitely going by us here. Go on, Logan. Okay, is the Mercedes just that washed? Okay, there it goes. They go around the outside, but that's okay. Hopefully we can stick in the DRS. It looks like we can. Relax.
Okay, head down.
Relax.
Focusing.
It's okay.
And behind you is Bottas.
Oh, he's moving. And he goes wide immediately. What happened?
Overtake available.
What happened?
Overtake available.
What happened?
Yeah, copy.
What happened? What was that?
Just head down.
What was that?
This is what happened.
What was
Let's
that?
have a look now. Around turn 3.
What the?
And
Whoa.
they squeeze by.
Why? What is happening? What was that? Logan! What was that? Hello? What? What? We went from fighting the Merc to last by a long shot. What was that? Bro! He didn't lock up, he didn't do any of that. He literally just went into the grass and then just drove off for no reason. Oh, come on, man. All right, well, let's go back to Valtteri, to
Overtake button available.
Mick. I'm flustered. Let's go back to Mick, who is chasing down Joe in the stake. But, like, come on now. What was that? Oh, my goodness. He was having such a good race already. He was having such a good race. And he had to go and bin it 4 laps in. Oh, my goodness. And there's Mick immediately down the inside. Let's go chase down another stake. Oh my goodness. I would love to understand what just happened. Truly and utterly, I would love to understand what just happened. This is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things. And now, I mean, we didn't exactly have the highest hopes for this race, but at the same time, we could be performing better than this. We could be. We could have been. Is gonna be the name of the race. Is just what could have been. It's gonna be interesting to see if we can hold Joe behind, not having the DRS. But it looks like the stake is not quite the same monster of trying to hold on. Looks like in terms of wear, the mediums and the hards actually wear at about the same rate. So I don't even know if we're going to have an advantage of the hards versus the mediums. Oh, go on, Mick. Wow. Hanging it on around the outside to defend the position. Holy, what a move. Gosh. That was an impressive move from Mick there. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Now the real question is, can he hold on to it for long? The answer is probably no, just due to how much downforce we're running. Because you got to remember, we are running basically like max low speed corner components here. AKA, we're really prepared for low speed tracks, but a track like Austria is not going to do well for us. So we really are just like fighting to be not last. Woo! Go on, Mick. Forcing Joe into a mistake. Go on. What a move. And now Logan is back into the DRS, should be. Yes, sir, he is. So now Logan can start to occupy a bit of Joe's time, as Mick is now 6 seconds behind Valtteri, who's in a DRS train basically all the way up to Fittipaldi in 14. Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. Let's keep moving. All right, Mick is now gone off on his own. Let's hop on back on board here with Logan, who makes a move down the inside into turn 3 and gets the move absolutely done. VSC, VSC, VSC.
Okay, your recharge on.
Copy.
Oh, Sonoda's out. I
VSC,
saw, dude, I
VSC.
looked up and missed all this. Sonoda crashed on turn 10.
Along the straight
Just
here,
goes straight. Hit the curb.
and
Oh, he
ends up in the
spun
wall.
that way.
Now their confidence will have taken a hit with that,
I don't know how you spin to the left
and not much that the
in
team
that
can do
right-hander.
about
I know
that.
it's a downhill, unless there's like suspension collapse or something. I don't know how exactly that goes. But at the same time, P19 and 20, W. Huge, massive W. We now get the benefit of
Okay, he's
gaining some ERS charge, although you're not going to get a whole lot running around in a under a
So he's on
VSC.
the car.
But at the same time,
Watch
I'm
for the
not
big-
going to complain. I'll move this on along a little bit. We're just charging up. All right, tires are a little cold. All right, tires are just a little cold. We're going to keep an eye on that. We're moving on. ERS is going to be basically maxed, which is lovely. All right, VSC ending. VSC ending.
Copy.
Let's get aggressive on these tires. Try and warm them up a bit.
Copy.
We can push.
DRS enabled.
We can push the issue. There we go. Pushing the fuel. Oh, he gets DRS immediately. Oh, he goes wide. W. W. He's not ready for it. Moment's too big.
Now we
The
should be
moment's too
able
big.
to
He
take
did a
a look
mick
here.
at the start.
Zhou Guanyu is the focus here.
Tries to go around the
Nothing wrong
outside.
so
Can't get it
far.
stopped.
Struggling
Oh,
with the
baby.
car. And they'll need to be mindful of the effect
Ooh,
that
and that's
that had
huge.
on the tires.
Absolutely massive. We are off to the races. We are away by a massive margin. W, and now we're running a nice clear 19th and 20th, which is not last, by the way, is not last. We have to remember. Yuki is out. Zhou 21st. Logan Sargent, Mick Schumacher making up the next two positions. Up at the front, it looks like a Leclerc-Verstappen battle. Norris about 2 seconds behind. Sainz next, about 3.5 seconds behind Norris. Perez, Stroll about 1 second apart each. Then we have Stroll, Piastri, and Russell making up the final 2 points-paying positions. Not too shabby, although Alonso is battling Russell for that last point spot. And they have Ricardo Albon and the two Hasses making up to 13th, and then from there, does it really matter? And the answer is not really, because we're down there and not a whole lot is really going on. All right, we got the tires back up to temp. Go ahead and drop those back down. I don't think really a whole lot is going to be happening here. So I think we'll probably get pretty close to just speeding this one up and getting these last 8 laps out of the way. We'll see if anything crazy happens, but at the same time, I'm not really expecting much at this point. So unless Zhou makes a miraculous final drive after locking up into one, which it doesn't really look like he's able to make up much of a move. Bottas is making his way forward. Let's take a look at tires, actually. We'll probably watch that more than anything. Seems like mediums might actually have been the way to go. I wasn't sure if they would be able to last, but I'm also not going to lie, based on the mistakes that our drivers have made in this one, I think starting on the hards was probably the right decision. Let's go ahead and run some deploy, because why not? Let's have the boys use a little bit of the ERS. If you got it, you might as well use it, you know? Let's increase the gap. Zhou down 11 seconds now. Sargent making his way. Mick 6 seconds behind Magnussen for some reason, who's now 18th. I remember him being back up in 12th, I believe. for a second there, but that's basically going to be all she wrote here. We'll go ahead and bob these on light, conserve,
Bit of
and
saving
top
when
up
we can.
Okay.
just to keep things moving along. We don't need any incidents.
Where you can.
We don't need any incidents out in the last S1, but 19th and 20th is going to be our finishing position here.
Leclerc is the
Leclerc
winner.
takes
It's
the
a
win.
day's
Verstappen
sprint.
3 seconds back. Norris rounds out the sprint podium with Sainz, Perez, Stroll, Piastri, and Alonso gets the job done, getting
race is
that
over.
final point there in 8th. Charles takes the win in Austria.
Welcome everyone to qualifying. This should be a good one.
Spielberg's short track comes with 2 high-speed straights. It might be tempting to prioritize low downforce here, but teams risk losing time when cornering if they do.
Karun, how do you think Logan Sargent's going to be feeling at the moment?
Well, neither teammate has really managed to score well so far. Perhaps picking up a few points this weekend would spur on a bit of healthy rivalry.
So stay with us, folks. It's sure to be a good one.
All right, let's see here. We can run softs now. I think we're gonna go back to doing our 1 flying lap stratagems. We'll just jump straight on in. We'll use as many tires as we feel like we have to. Let's go ahead and get this thing underway. Let's double check, just because it's got me worried when it said light rain earlier. Let's go ahead. I want to give it a little bit of time to. I don't want to go out immediately. I want to give these guys an opportunity to get the track with a little bit of rubber down. Seems like we're not alone in wanting to give the track some time. We'll de-dustify it. We'll let the others take off that first layer, and then we'll go out probably with maybe 10 minutes to go in the session while we go out for our first lap. All right, let's go ahead. Let's do it. Let's send our boys out on their first laps. We'll send Mick there. We'll wait for. Right now, we'll send Logan out with Perez and Fittipaldi. Mick should have a nice clear lap. I believe Alonso's in. Yep, Mick should have a nice clear lap as long as Russell gets out of the way. Get out of the way, Russell. Thank you. Hopefully that was good. Mick gets out there. Okay.
Currently
Huge. Ahead of Gasly, Fittipaldi, and Zhou.
Everybody, good job.
That's
Let's
huge
box
for
now,
us.
please. Box now.
Logan is on his lap currently. Let's take a look and see where he goes. So Mick, obviously, having a little bit more pace on the softs. Zhou apparently did a 35-second outlap. Another warm-up lap, so we'll see. Logan goes 12th. Okay.
John and Bob.
Apparently Logan is starting to get the hang of the car while Mick is continuing to struggle, so good to know. Looks like we're gonna get about 2 laps in, so they're in now. Let's reconfigure, fresh set of softs. And we'll prepare for our final laps. Ocon spinning into turn 3. Unfortunate to say the least. We actually have a lot of tires left available to us. We realistically probably could have done more laps, but at the same time, I'm not mad about this. All right, let's start to plan this out. I really want to try and be some of the last out here. Let's go into. We slid into the pack a little bit. Well, let's see. Let's hop on board with Mick and see if we can get any slipstream advantage here, and see if we can make something happen. See if we can move up. Logan, currently the driver at risk. Looking at the drivers who probably are looking to move past him is Stroll, Magnussen, and Ricciardo. It's gonna need to be a good lap for Mick and for Logan if they're gonna have any chance. They should have everything they need to improve. Mick goes green, Logan goes green on their first sectors. That's good news for us. Down into, what is that, turn 7, 4, 5, whichever one it is. Moving around, looking around. Logan officially moves down into the drop zone. Perez goes fastest. Fittipaldi is out. Ocon is almost out. Here's Mick to the line. Moves up to 18th. Not enough. Sargent does not improve. Stroll, where's Stroll? Rounding the final corner now, getting a slipstream. And Stroll moves out. So it is a Mick Schumacher 20th, Logan Sargent 22nd. Another day, another Q1 exit. It is another Max Verstappen pole position, but it is a Papaya 2-3. Lando Norris fills out the front row with Oscar 3rd, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz 4th and 5th. Then we have George Russell, Lance Stroll, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, and Sergio Perez, who looks like he did not complete a time in Q3, so he'll start 10th. Gonna be interesting, to say the least.
Here among the mountains in Austria, the teams are preparing for the 71 laps of today's race.
4 years on from the circuit being renamed to the Red Bull Ring, Max Verstappen became the first driver to bring an eponymous car to victory here in 2018.
Spielberg's challenges are all about overtaking. The DRS zones here mean passing is very possible, especially if your tyres are in a better condition than the next cars. But get caught out having to manage less than fresh tyres? You could be a sitting duck. The time has almost come for our drivers to fight it out wheel to wheel. Race day has arrived.
Here we go. We got light rain, which is fascinating, by the way. I cannot wait to see what that looks like. Wow. Okay. Mediums and then enters the whole way. Oh boy. It looks like we might have to rock the same strategy for both. I think we're gonna try something new. I think we're gonna try going multiple laps under on fuel to try and take advantage at the start, especially if we're going to have inters to fall back on later. I think we'll be able to make up that fuel delta pretty easily in the wet. And so yeah, I think we're gonna set it. It's not very often that we actually go under on fuel, especially not by 2 laps. So this is gonna get interesting. We're in a decent enough position. If we can get a good enough start, I think we can make something happen. Let's head it. Let's do our best. Let's do our best.
Final checks are being carried out by the teams, and it won't be long until we get this race underway. The Williams driver, their attention purely on the race now.
While I imagine many are looking at the other end of the grid, I'm keen to see what they can achieve from P19.
But just what will happen here, your guess is as good as mine. The crowd are ready, the cars are ready. It's the Austrian Grand Prix.
Here we go.
And
5
it's
red
lights
lights.
out, and away
Oh,
we
Lando
go.
got a huge start. Max with a slow one. It looks like they actually got away pretty decently. I'm going to assume that the lighter car hopefully is doing its job there. Someone ran wide. Ocon running wide. Perez down in 22nd. Must have had some grid penalties or something along the lines there. So he's a pit lane start by the looks of it. Mick officially in 17th, could be going down the inside. Logan also 6-0's in. We're doing 2 miles an hour here, guys. We're doing 2 miles an hour. All right, Mick, let's relax.
Just keep it up.
We did all right. 18th and 20th, we're basically in the same positions. Probably could have, should have made up a position there, but at the same time, I'm not going to complain about moving forward. All I'm really looking forward to here is trying to keep a hold position as best as possible to make up for our higher downforce stuff and stay in the DRS as DRS is enabled on lap 1 here. We are hanging out. The AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda really wants to get by us here, but we have DRS of our own. We're hopefully not going to be in too much danger there as Logan closes up the gap to them. Myself, we're going to lower the tires down because we need these to last until the rain starts, if the rain is going to start, to say the least. And so I'm really hoping that our lower fuel weight to start is going to help us out here. Try and make up for our lack of straight line speed if we can, especially with the drag that our car inevitably has. Looks like Mick has done a pretty decent job. Zhou running a little wide there. We're going to be going side by side with the AlphaTauri, and that's just too much. Oh, Yuki goes down the inside of Zhou immediately. Here we have Logan looking to make a move on Mick. Our drivers, of course, as always, free to fight. We're absolutely not scared of our drivers fighting as now Sargent moves to defend from the Red Bull of Sergio Perez. Ocon's still down there. All we need is Mick to remain in the DRS if at all possible. Getting a tow, getting the DRS should be enough. Logan looks like he's about to lose a position to Perez, but at the same time, probably shouldn't be too surprised by that, as, you know, it's a Red Bull versus us. So, hopefully, it's not too bad. Yellow. Oh, Albon! Albon's gone! Goodbye! Ran wide. We are up into 18th and 19th. I want to watch that again because I want to see what happened.
Take a look now. Let's have a look then at turn 6.
Albon runs wide, is on the dirt, on the grass. Looks like that's exactly what happened to Logan in the sprint race, but this time it was Albon. And so he just, for whatever reason, the AI is designed to
Copy.
just send it, I guess, and just sit in the grass. All right, we need to conserve because our engines are starting to overheat a little bit. Yellow.
Oh, I made another mistake. Yeah, all good. Sorry.
Confirmed.
Minor front wing. What happened? Explain yourself. Defending from Perez. I love when you show it from this perspective because then you just don't see what happened.
Look at the team there. They all knew what.
So it looks like Logan probably locked up a bit and then tagged Checo. But now Logan has a minorly damaged front wing. I'm going to choose to ignore it. We'll see how he goes. Realistically, even if we were to stop, that's basically his race over. No penalties given. Huge. Not even his fault. He didn't even do it. False allegations. So, I mean, at this point, his race is effectively over anyway, so I think we're just going to leave it alone. We'll let him save his fuel now as Checo moves down past Mick. That's good. More slipstream for us. Checo actually doesn't have DRS, so Mick is going to go back down the inside. Oh, go on, Mick! Go on, the boy! What a move! Absolutely sends it on Checo. Holy, let's go. What a send down the inside into the downhill right-hander. Oh, what a move. And then he says, get out of here. He says, where you think you're going, Checo?
That sees them move up into 18.
Let's go, Mick. What a move. What an absolute move.
And rain falling now in the pit lane.
Copy.
All right, rain now falling in the pit lane already. The track dampness has officially started. We have 0.01 millimeters of rain on the circuit. 0.2 now, 0.02. Something to keep an eye on. All right, what we can do is put our fuel consumption back to regular. All of our fuel save is going to be coming from the rain period, so that is what we're keeping an eye on here. I really don't want to use another front wing if I don't have to with Logan. So I'm going to hope and pray that nothing happens with him again. But even then, I think at that point, I would probably just retire the car at that point. He's running on very, 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 very used engine components. And I really can't risk more components crashing out, basically. So, unfortunately, Logan, I mentioned it at the beginning, you're going to have to just be... You're gonna have to just hold on and do your absolute best because there's nothing we can do for you here. All right, looks like we have caught the pack, thankfully. We now get the benefit of DRS and the slipstream of the Williams and the Sauber. Looks like Checo is definitely going to still be itching, but Mick has actually done a very, very good job of holding the Red Bull back. His confidence is high. I don't doubt it. Although, it looks like Checo's got the better of him there. And now we're just going to have to hold on to the back of the Red Bull. It is starting to get very damp. We are a fifth of the way to damp conditions. We're going to have to try and make the... time the right call here. And try to make the most of this if we can. Yes, I understand. Yes, I know we have 4 more. We're trying to keep it at 4 more. We literally... I know your confidence is very low. There's not really a whole lot I can do about it here, my boy.
I don't know what just happened.
Yep, copy that.
And Mick spins immediately.
Full to plate.
Tries to defend from the... Whee! Not our season. It's not our season, to say the least. Alright. Avoid high-risk curbs. I always forget to do this. Yeah, avoid those high-risk curbs. We need to keep the car in one piece, especially as it gets more and more damp. We need to avoid the curbs as much as possible and avoid the puddles. I think that'll be good for us in the long run here. Tire temps starting to dip a little as the dampness of the track goes up. So I need to keep an eye on that for Logan specifically, because it looks like his tires are mighty cold. Have to imagine that might have something to do with a combination of low confidence and a damaged front wing, if I had to guess. I'd imagine it probably isn't helping at all. But I mean, at this point, we're very close to just fast forwarding. There's almost literally nothing we can do here. And it's unfortunately just going to be what it's going to be here soon. We do still have time. You know, we're not going to be damp anytime soon, so we still have plenty of opportunities ahead should something happen. But boy, oh boy, is this race went from fairly exciting with Mick, you know, fighting up here in 19th, the 17th and 19th position, to now being 4.5 seconds behind Albon, who's in P20. So, W. All right, obviously Logan is not able to get temperature in the tires. Let's see what everybody else is on. Looks like the mediums and the softs aren't that, the delta between them isn't that much. Unless you're Norris, who's up in P2 with a 70% medium, while everyone else is closer to 60 or in the 50s. Albon's on hards, and so is Stroll and Magnussen. It's interesting, but we're losing time hand over fist here. I guess we can let Mick try and be a little more aggressive. I guess we might as well just leave Logan on aggressive as well. Let's go ahead and...
How are my tire temps?
Okay, focus on tires now.
Let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit. I mean, at this point, we're kind of honestly just killing time until the dampness comes. In 3 minutes, we're going to hit 80%. That's basically, I think, when the start of the rain and such is going to be coming in. Be interesting to see the timing of that and how that goes. If we keep a look at it, it says it's going to be damp in approximately 10 minutes. So we're looking at in approximately 7 to 8 laps. We're probably going to be looking at some issues, to say the least. Tire temps are really struggling now. We really need to try and generate some temp if we can. But I was correct that as the rain comes in, our fuel delta is already well below where it used to be. As we continue on, I think over the course of, 71 laps, I think we'll be pretty bang on in terms of our fuel usage by the end of it. Oh, there's a bug. There's a bug on my monitor. Get out of here. Get out of here. Nah. It's gonna land on me, I know it. We have entered our pit window, but I mean, at this point, we need it to start raining a little more. We're gonna hit damp soon. Logan, actually the tires are doing better for Logan, who is now being officially lapped. Did Stroll just pit for fresh slicks? No, he pit to inters already. Wow.
We will be ready.
Okay, so Stroll pits to inters already when we're still tenths away from it being officially damp. Piastri next, looks like. going to... I'm guessing we're going to have some people going on to Inters already. People on Softs, I think, are probably feeling the pain a little bit. It's going to get interesting, to say the least. I don't think that they're not going to be very fast as we continue moving on. I know everyone's looking to pit soon, but at the same time, I think we still have a fair amount of time left before we really hit it. So they're going to be burning up their Inters. We're going to be doing our best to try and create a tire delta as the entire top 8? 7? The entire top... there's numbers. The entire top 7 pit now looks like for Inters. Well, we're not there yet. Or are we? And we just don't know. Albon is on Inters, and he is kind of flying. Here, let's pit with Mick. I literally looked Logan in the eye and called him Mick. So let's pit with Logan now. We'll give it a go. Let's go one more lap with Mick just to see. Everybody's in. Everybody's in. We just need to follow suit. We always try and be a little different, and it never works out for us. Let's just do what everybody else does for once. And let's pit. We are the last ones in, and we are going to be doing a double stack. Although at the same time, he is quite a distance behind. So it should be a fairly easy double stack as we're in and out. 2.58. Let's go, team. And then Logan in 2.58. Let's go. Even quicker. Our pit stop times are immaculate. All right, we're officially back into 21st and 22nd. And looks like it just is what it is. Honestly, we did pick the right time anyway because it is almost immediately about to be damp. So if we had left to make out for one more lap, I think that would have been bad news. But the actual bad news is that we're about to be lapped again, and the track conditions are only going to get worse from here. I'm interested to see what happens with our higher downforce setup and these wetter conditions. That said, we're going to be being lapped a lot, which is going to really hinder our progress here. So it's going to get interesting, to say the least. So we're probably going to be staring at this view for a lot of the rest of this race, unless something were to change and something were to happen. But all in all, it seems like this is probably going to be the rest of this, these final 26 laps. Which is fine, but at the same time, it's not always the most exciting thing in the world, as we've already lost another 2 seconds that lap, so we really need to generate some tire temp here, guys.
How does my tires look?
We need to get that tire temp up, my boys. Get that tire temp up.
Tires.
If we can get the tires into an actual working window, then I think we might start to see some benefit. But it's going to take some doing, especially with these instances of having to get out of the way for blue flags. But if we can get it into a working window, I think that's going to be good for us. I just really want to see those tire temps move to white. Can we get it off of 70 degrees? Time will tell. We're only continuing to lose time. I think 71 quite literally is like the line for white. There's Logan's official call for the mechanical fault. Probably honestly should have been expecting that, to say the least. I'm surprised honestly he made it this long before he got it. He is kind of our guinea pig here, so it is what it is. But now that Mick has some clear air, he's starting to make a little bit of time into Zhou, who is coming out of turn 3, about to head down to turn 4 or 5, whichever one you prefer. He's gonna have some blue flags here in a moment. Still waiting on these tire temps to come in just a little bit. Can we go? Can we try and make something happen?
Couple of cars off there.
Couple of cars off. Who did it?
Watch for debris.
Hold on. Is this our opportunity? Oh, Oscar! Who is it? Oh, Oscar! Oh, he was absolutely done there.
And you can just feel the
Oh,
frustration
no!
of the team.
Oscar! Oscar, no! Is he out? He's not out. He's just way behind now. Oh no, Oscar. Oh, Zhou got a penalty! Penalty for Zhou! Zhou penalty 5 seconds. I mean, we are well, we're only 6.5 seconds behind now. Does he have damage? Where is Zhou? He's going into turn 3 now. I think we're going to be catching up to Zhou. So I think that is going to be P20 for Mick after it's all said and done. I have to imagine Zhou might have some damage. Add in the fact that he has a 5-second penalty. And we have an opportunity. An opportunity abounds. Although at the same time, I cannot, for whatever reason, get tire temp into these tires. They have been stuck on 70 degrees since we got here. This lap traffic is not doing us any favors. Not doing any favors, as Zhou is apparently not damaged at all and is now cruised off by 4 seconds. So that's bad. He does have a 5-second penalty, but is not apparently not going to do us any favors as we try and... God, we can't generate any tire temp. We're stuck. We fluctuate between 70 and 71 degrees C. We really need to get in the tow behind some other cars to really generate any tire temp in the dirty air. Not something you see every day. As you know, you're requiring the dirty air to really move forward at all. I mean, at the same time, it's kind of nice because I literally have Mick on aggressive tires, and it's basically doing nothing to the tires. If anything, we have all of the tires. We're literally wild, to say the least.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
So, virtual safety car.
I'm very, 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 very sorry.
And for the crew watching on in the garage, that really must have been a hard one to take.
No words. I have absolutely 0 words about that. Absolutely no words. Absolutely none. Don't ask me because I have
VSC ending.
no words.
Copy that.
The good news is, as long as Logan Sargent finishes this race, we're getting our 100K. That is the only redeeming factor about this. We are about to be lapped, I believe, for the 2nd time. Yes, we were just lapped for the 2nd time, but we're gonna get our 100K because Logan finished the race. W. I have actually no words. I have actually no words at all, to the point where I just want to get out of here. We're 40 seconds behind Zhou. We're 2 laps down. And we were just lapped by Enzo Fittipaldi. We have been lapped down to 19.
There's a yellow flag now.
And Zhou just spun, so there's that, I guess. What? I don't know. I actually have no words. I have no words, quite literally whatsoever. I want to be out of here. I want to be literally anywhere else. And so we are going to be speeding this up, trying to make that happen as soon as possible. We're now below 20 laps. We're still in 21st. Russell, a bit of a mistake, maybe? Russell's spinning into turn 3, still in 9th, so still hanging out. Overtakes
What's your
Stroll.
opinion on the track at the moment?
Ooh, is it dry? Is it gonna stay dry? No, it's gonna be damp again in but a moment. Anybody diving into the pits? No? Yeah, I didn't think so. You know, I've been in some races where I've had no words about things that have gone on. This is truly one of those where it's just like I have
2 cars out, a lot of debris.
2 cars out. Piastri, Leclerc.
Possible. small
Piastri,
debris.
Leclerc. Hold on. Life. Piastri, Leclerc. Incident into 1. Oh, huge shunts. Oh no, Charles. Charles took one from Pastry, who's continuing on. He's still going, but he must have some pretty fair damage. He's on 20% inters now, so definitely took that. He's now also got a mechanical fault. I have to imagine the gearbox took an absolute shunt and a half. Piastri absolutely getting a time penalty there. It's not actually going to matter, but he absolutely deserved that penalty, to say the least. Wow, okay, so we don't actually get any positions, but that definitely does shake up this race as Fernando Alonso now finds himself in 5th. Leclerc finally comes into pit. He's, you know, way down in 11th now, well outside the points. That is going to shake things up a lot as Tsunoda moves up into the points. Wow, 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 wow. And I have to imagine Leclerc probably has some floor damage, some rear diffuser damage. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Hulkenberg is... Oh, I was gonna... Hulkenberg was. Ricardo is now flying up to Leclerc, who gets past him. Uh-oh, Leclerc. Uh-oh, Charles. Now behind the Haas. Charles! Alright, he's gonna stay ahead of the Williams. But he is passed by the Haas. And that's tough scenes. Absolutely tough scenes. As we will just continue on here. Verstappen will take the win. Norris and Sainz will round out the podium.
Over the finish line, and today's
Not too
winner.
shabby for them. Pretty shabby for us, if I do say so myself. Tough day at the office. We were lapped 3 times. Horrific. Absolutely horrific.
Okay, we take the flag.
Get me out of here.
Now, I honestly wonder if Mick Schumacher's day could have got much worse.
No, probably not. No, probably, definitely not. So Max Verstappen takes the win. Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz round out the podium. Lewis Hamilton up 4 positions to 4th. And Fernando Alonso also up 4 positions to finish 5th. So solid day from them. Charles officially loses the lead on the Drivers' Championship with that result. Max with his 33 points overtakes him and now leads by 17 points through 11 rounds. Wow, wow, wow. Red Bull also make a good chunk into Ferrari's Constructors lead. Now only 44 points behind in the Constructors as well. We're still last, in case anyone was wondering. More importantly, we got some points in the DHL fastest pit stops. We got 2 in the top 10 with 9th and 10th with 2.581 and 2.585, garnering us 3 points. We gained 3 points, now level with Kick Sauber on the results. So sitting in 9th, was at 12 points ahead of the Haas and level with Kick Sauber, so tied for 8th. Not too shabby. We got our 103k, which is definitely gonna make up for the fact that Logan apparently DNF'd, even though he didn't. Mick actually DNF'd and Logan got 21st. So gross. Moving on.